Hey guys, and welcome to the Ultimate Showdown. KROQ's been there, he's done that, he's killed many a demon, but the fight against the demons never truly ends. I'm a LAKOR, I'm going to be doing a rematch up against indypride of Milk and Cookies Total War. For part 1, go check it out, but this time we're using relatively similar builds, in fact almost identical, but I have taken out Lord KROQ because we were coming to the conclusion maybe Lord KROQ is a tiny bit too powerful at the moment, so he instead has been replaced by a Skink Priest of Heavens coming in on a Stegodon. Harmonic Convergence as well as Curse of Midnight Wind are his poisons of choice. Load of Sarus Warriors, a load of Skinks, pretty basic and standard stuff, but the Triple Dino threat really is quite powerful. We have the Archosotek to clear chaff, KROQ can go toe-to-toe with the best of them, and the Stegodon can do lovely work in a variety of situations. We've got some Chameleon Stalkers stalking out to the left-hand side, pushing on towards Objective 3. As for my opponent, he has a load of Blue Horrors. So Blue Horrors making up the majority of the battle force, backed up by Exalted Demonettes, including the Bringers of Begarment. Incredibly powerful infantry at the moment, arguably some of the best infantry in the game. I think Bringers of Begarment as well as the Regiment of Renowned Hellforged Host are arguably the two best infantry at the moment. We do have Screams up in the skies, as well as a LAKOR, who is float forward. I don't know what it is about his, flying animation. It just seems weird to me that he's, standing up rather than going like a full jet engine, but that's probably just me. I do love his purple sword, though. Can we come in with all the goodies? He has Pendulum, Melkov's Mystifying Masma, and Enfeebling Foe. Really looking to get a bit of vengeance on KROQ. We do have some exotic bloodletters being summoned in by my opponent. For myself, it looks like we just got more Sarus Warriors and started moving them up into the main engagement. A load of plasma guns, or plasma grenades I should say, go down on the front line, but it's only into Skinks. I'm really not that fussed whatsoever. LAKOR is going to bomb rush in though. That is something I'm a little bit more worried about. KROQ is on arrival to come say hello. Skinks elsewhere will be able to easily overwhelm the Blue Horrors, at least I would hope so. Big Fat Hand of the Gods comes in, just snapping LAKOR right across the face there. Didn't enjoy that one too much, did you, buddy? Down about a quarter HP already. Sarus are now clattering in to the main fight. Archosotek looking to hound the Blue Horrors where possible. Though their shields may protect them momentarily, his abilities should be enough to rip them of their shields and kind of devour their flesh with a load of nasty bugs and snakes. Big fight in the middle. Looks like a Curse of Midnight Wind goes down. A cowardly LAKOR flees with the Shadow Shroud popped on him. Looks like we do get an Enfeebling Foe popped on us, however, and that's going to be a little bit more of a rough fight, though we've done pretty good so far. LAKOR not the most excited Lado. Blue Horrors are fighting their way through Skink cohorts. Fight from the middle is really tough. You can see KROQ just pulling back, pulling LAKOR into other threats, such as this scary Archosotek, and then when he turns his back, KROQ goes snapping straight back in. Grimlock fears no petty demon. Shadow Shroud is off for a crazy long time, that ability. My god, okay, it has now finally gone. That ability lasts way too long, and he is able to get back up into the skies. Blue Horrors are being dealt with by the Archosotek rather nicely. Skinks are starting to flood towards Objective 2, but it looks like my opponent is starting to claim it a little bit. Exalted Demonettes being quite problematic for us. Objective 1 is definitely going to be ours. It looks like the Nurglings expected just to fight Skink cohorts, but we have Chameleon Stalkers on the approach, missing 90% of their shots. They don't like firing uphill too much. That's a little bit disappointed from them, but combined we will easily overwhelm the Nurglings and claim this high ground position. Big fight going down in the middle. It looks like the Skink cohorts are struggling here a little bit. LAKOR's just getting absolutely gangbanged with the Archosotek one side, KROQ the other. Dark Master comes in with Enfeebling Foe. That is so disgustingly powerful. Lowering your melee attack to 1 momentarily. Harmonic Convergence is there to counteract that. And with the Archosotek in the rear, they are certainly not out of this fight yet. Curse Midnight Wind does neuter the effectiveness of LAKOR a little bit, and he probably wants to back up and get the hell out of there. Coatl of Sotek are currently refusing to die. I do that pretty much every day, and the Blue Horrors are desperately attempting to overwhelm them, but the Coatl of Sotek are going to do quite decent in that matchup. Sarus are taking on Exalted Demonettes as well as Exotic Bloodletters. That is an absolute horrid engagement for them. Luckily, the Archosotek is nearby. He should be able to clear quite a few of these guys with his ability. KROQ once again fends off LAKOR. Lovely play by the big dino. Looks like the Skink Priest is relatively healthy. I'm trying to keep KROQ away from the Bringers of Begarment because they are realistically the unit which will butcher and slay him. Overall Objective 3, my opponent's not actually been able to capture it yet. We've done a little cheeky bit of harass with the Chameleon Stalkers. We forced off the Flesh Hounds and also made our opponent bring some Furies over, which is quite good news for us right now because we have been able to, I know we were able to hold on to the middle for a while, but it looks like it is now in the hands of our opponent. We were trying to keep them at bay. Objective 1 is ours. So we do have the ticket domination at the moment. Looks like KROQ is now struggling a little bit with the Screamers surrounding him as well as the Blue Horrors. He's taking a bit of a pounding, but Harmonic Convergence is on him. Swiftness of Itzel, Sacred Spawning. He's once again able to drive away LAKOR. Skink Priest getting in there with his big tusks, looking to render bloody gouges amongst the flesh of LAKOR. Total Sotek moving in. Looks like we have a load more Chameleon Stalkers in. Big fat hand of the Gods goes right up the rear end of LAKOR there, ripping out his intestines for his mouth, but the Unholy Demon is able to continue fighting, as is the way of his kind. Chameleon Stalkers are currently just pinning in the Bringers of Beguilement. That is their main hope. Once again, we have the Shadow Shroud go down on LAKOR, and Enfeebling Foe and Dark Masters on KROQ. So I'm just trying to get the hell out of there at the moment. I'm taking quite a few rear attacks, unfortunately. Archosotek is attempting to rather bravely get in the way of the enemy. KROQ's going to turn around now and actually try and take the fight back. Up to 25 melee attacks, not great, but LAKOR is getting forced away by the triple dino threat. Objective 3 is currently in the hands of my opponent. I've got some sneaky Chameleon Skinks over here, and I know the Stalkers are alive, so I'm biding my time, trying to force my opponent to kind of give up on that position a little bit, thinking it's safe, and then we're going to jump him. That is the plan. KROQ still alive. Looks like Deadly Onslaught and Cold-Blooded was popped on him. We're also going to see yet another Curse of Midnight Wind come in. Not the greatest use here, but just trying to drag down the Brings of Beguilement with a combination of our big single entities. LAKOR's going for a bit of a fly. He's going out here to Objective 1, where a mixture of Skink Cohorts and Chameleon Stalkers are just devouring Nurglings. I think this is not the first unit of Nurglings still. Surely it can't be, but I think this is maybe the second unit of Nurglings. We are able to force it off. However, there's Heartseekers on approach as well as Exalted Demonettes. They're comfortably going to beat Batless Infantry Corps, particularly with the mighty LAKOR nearby. Now, disaster strikes the middle. This is probably the worst thing that physically could happen to me. KROQ was trying to do some cycle charging as you do on the Exiled Bloodletters, and he gets ensnared by the Bringers of Beguilement. And you guys may think I'm overreacting by saying the Bringers of Beguilement are arguably the best unit in the game, or best infantry unit in the game, alongside the Hellforged host. They will shred KROQ like it's no tomorrow, and we've got an Archosotek attempting to help here. Bringers of Beguilement don't really care. Look at the amount of damage they've managed to do in such a short time onto KROQ. Maybe even enough to get him off the battlefield here. Any unit which can cause rampage is phenomenal in my opinion. So the Skink Priest is doing a decent job, though. He's holding it down where KROQ kind of lost his marbles and is going a bit insane alongside the Archosotek. You can see KROQ is now going to be forced away from the battlefield. Archosotek are doing good, but yeah, it's really on this Skink Priest now to try and stabilize my battle line. I'm behind on tickets. My opponent is claiming objectives. Looks like he is attempting here to go for a triple cap, which is really scary stuff. Objective 3, though, we do have a bit of a sneaky play here. So the Chameleons are going to start peppering down at the Bloodletters, going for those 360 no-scopes into the flanks of them. Is starting to do some nice work. Chameleon Stalkers on the objective. We're going to start flooding some more Skinks over here, and we will hopefully be able to contest objective number 3. And objective 2 shall be ours. LAKOR's disappearance hasn't gone unnoted, and a lot of his demons are kind of a bit lackluster now, despite the fact the Exalted Bloodlet is up to 237 kills. The Skink Priest and Archosotek are doing a decent job here in the mid-game. It looks like Objective 1 is my opponent's, though. A lovely, you can see, oh no, look at the little skinkies. They're like fleeing in all different directions. This is a horrible sight. But yeah, a mixture of Nurglings alongside the Heartseekers was able to push myself off this objective, as well as LAKOR just, flying around. Now, KROQ is near the end of the map. The Bringers of Beguilement are continuing to chase him up to over 240 kills now. Absolutely redonkulous stuff from them. Really lovely play at KROQ. Looks like my opponent decides to actually go off the battlefield, thinking that KROQ is too close to the edge of the board to maybe rally. Looks like he has actually indeed come back, and KROQ, he ain't out of this fight yet. He didn't hear no bells, LAKOR. Just because you've got your little servants to try and do your dark work for you, KROQ is ready to come back with a vengeance. The Archosotek's doing decent damage here. The Skink Cohorts as well are feasting upon the Flesh Hounds in combination with the Skink Priest, and we do indeed claim Objective 2. Likewise, we claim Objective 3. Just significantly more Skinks over here. We're able to surround and beat back the Bloodletters, and all of a sudden, we are the ones with the 2-to-1 cap. It's going to be incredibly close ticket-wise, though. I would like to push for a third objective realistically. Pink Horrors do get summoned in and brought up. Unfortunately for them, the Heartseekers abandoned them, and that's just going to allow me to simply push through and run them over. Like, Pink Horrors aren't bad in melee, but they do not stand up to the large dinosaurs. Looks like my opponent realizes his mistake, and now the Heartseekers are on arrival Sotek gets in there, though, and he's shredding. Sotek's poison doing a decent amount of job there. Skink cohorts as well are going to continue to drive them away. Looks like the Heartseekers are forced away as well by Saurus warriors. LAKOR doing a nice job, however, in the far side. And let's slow this game down a little bit, take a bit of stock of the battlefield. It has been a thunderous affair so far by both of us fighting for all objectives. Objective 3 is well and truly secure. The enemy general is still alive and kicking. Objective 1, I am starting to claim with a beat-up unit of Chameleon Stalkers who came back into the action if they can simply hold up against those Furies. And KROQ is on the return. I did manage to eventually notice that he was back, and he's been coming into the action once more. Skinks are just going to chase down pink horrors. This is like the best value of all time. It's so good. Just chasing down this unit. I'm going to force them off. The Saurus warriors, though, are like insanely more healthy and more models at the moment. Are taking massive damage against the exotic bloodletters, simply due to the fact that they don't really want to go back to the warp. I don't blame them. It's not a nice place. Saurus warriors lost about a quarter of their HP there just to finish them off, however. Heartseekers do push into my back line. This is beautiful micromanagement by my opponent. Really good play just to kind of bomb rush on top of any units coming to reinforce where possible. And it's going to be tough for me to keep up with a unit like the Heartseekers as the Dino Boys. Objective 1 is still in the hands of my opponent, alas. KROQ gets back into the action only to break again. I was absolutely heartbroken. The Ark of Sotek in combination with the Skink Priest are going to attempt to go toe-to-toe with LAKOR. Curse of Midnight Wind comes in, however, there is Shadow Shroud. I have Harmonic Convergence. He has the Dark Master. There's a load of ridiculous stuff going on here, and I am starting to just about cling on to this objective. We've done decent damage to LAKOR, but that 40% Shadow Shroud is absolutely insane. Like, it lasts forever as well. And it looks like KROQ is on the return once again, though, so maybe he's got a few teeth left in him. These Saurus warriors are quite happy to fight Heartseekers like this. In sustained combat, these Saurus are going to love this type of fight. Looks like the Skink Priest is getting a little distracted, though, driving away and devouring one of the enemy cavalry, and unfortunately has allowed the Ark of Sotek to get jumped. We'll come in with a bit of Sotek's poison onto LAKOR, who is fighting like an absolute mad lad right now. He's really fighting much better than he did in part 1 of this series. Looks like KROQ Deadly Onslaught popped in, and there's no debuffs left for him. It looks like LAKOR already used all of them, and he is coming in hard. LAKOR's wings kind of trying to distract us from the fight in there. The Grimlock is ripping and tearing into LAKOR, who is going about his business relatively well, though unfortunately the Skink Priest is going to be doing his rear attack animations. I've spoken about this in the past. I absolutely despise them, but it is what it is. KROQ clinging on for dear life, cold-blooded, the only thing keeping him in the game. Deadly Onslaught also being popped, and LAKOR is down to just 800 HP right now with the Curse of Midnight Wind, but it looks like he's going to be getting a big heal from the faction ability of Nurgle. Those are random what you get, so that is just about going to keep him in the fight. And KROQ is, alas, going to retreat and be forced back into the mean streets of Lustria. So KROQ gets forced away in this fight. Very sad news, but honestly, I think he did a pretty decent job considering the OP-ness of LAKOR. Chameleon Stalkers doing okay, just hunting down at the pink horrors. We do also have Chameleon Skinks, I was going to call them Stalkers there, trying to focus down the enemy, like, lightly armored troops, like brings a beguilement, but also LAKOR as well if he ever gets too close. I've been getting taken a little away there by the epic duels in the middle. How's the rest of the battlefield doing? Well, once again, Chameleon Stalkers have been able to capture Objective 1, and we have both the outside objectives. That does not mean I'm going to stop fighting for the middle, however. Skink Javelins are peppering LAKOR in the rear end. But yeah, the fact he's got healing like that is really scary stuff. Chameleon Skinks are desperately trying to drag low the Dark Prince, and it looks like we're doing some pretty decent damage. I've just noticed the corpse of Grimlock. KROQ doesn't seem to be anywhere nearby them, so I'm sure he was saved and dragged away. But alas, Grimlock does fall, and I want vengeance. 3,895 tickets to 3,755. We do briefly have the triple cap, though, which is absolutely huge. Allow me to get a big advantage right now. Chameleon Skinks are just fighting against a tide of withering demons, and they are going to be forced back. I don't blame them. Ark of Sotek's like, yeah, I'm not about this life. Looks like all my big dinos have kind of... they've done their time, you know. They've been fighting a long time in this battlefield. They've all done a good job. Skink Priest up to 100 kills. Does actually come back for a bit of a scrap. Now, Objective 3 is the objective I'm flooding with troops. I have Skinks coming out of every single orifice, and I'm sending them over there as quickly as possible. Some more Skinks are attempting to help the situation in Objective 1, but there's so many just red banners coming this direction. We've got Nurglings, Fleshhounds, Heartseekers. We are still currently holding it down. I've even got some Pterodons just because they're the last cheap unit I could throw onto the battlefield, and they're going to be flying over here, trying to delay the opponent as much as possible. coming in here with maybe some rock drops or two. Objective 3 is well and truly mine, though. My opponent needs to get moving much faster. Brings up a garment and exotic bloodletters need to push Objective 3. But I think at this point, he maybe thinks he can't win that fight. And likewise, I have troops over in Objective 2. LAKOR is going to start moving. Ticket-wise, I only need the one objective now, and somehow that Ark of Sotek has gone on a pilgrimage in the name of the old ones. Somehow made it over to Objective 3. They get a cheeky charge on the bloodletters. There's going to be some sneaky snakos popping out. We're just going to desperately attempt to drag these guys down. A horde of skinks in the name of the great plan are going to fight back. The bloodletters are carving them asunder with mighty cleaving blades. My opponent, though, these middle units need to be bomb rushing over here as swiftly as possible, but I think maybe it is too little too late. Objective 1 does fall. We've got some skinks here, and of course the pterodon riders up in the sky, just harassing and being a pain in the butt, but there's no way they can get over here and claim this objective as quickly as that. LAKOR's on arrival right now, looking to push here. That's 4,920 tickets to 4,500. I'm feeling comfortable, but the bloodletters up to 100 kills already. Luckily for me, the Coat of Sotek have arrived, and they are perfect for holding objectives. Big fat juicy pendulum is going to go down the line on the skinks. We attempt to dodge it and drag the bloodletters into it, but alas, it is too little too late. But we cling on. Hola, skink. This was a true scrap. My god. This was a close affair. Very, very close stuff. LAKOR was a nightmare to deal with. Only 2.6k value, but his buffs and debuffs are absurd in my eyes. I know there's been a big debate on it. A lot of people think that, no, just chuck him into my play is absolutely fine. I disagree heavily. From my experience playing LAKOR, he is probably the best lord in the game. I mean, it's close. Maybe he's very much up there. Like, I would love to see him in competitive play, but his abilities need nerf, or he needs to be made more expensive. I think the abilities getting a bit of a nerf would be much better for everyone. You don't want to make him so, disgustingly, too overpriced. However, KROQ, Grimlock, outperforming him. 3.5k gold value. That is the magic of friendship between the rider and the steed there. Likewise, 2.2k on the Ark of Sotek. It just stayed alive all day, and if you allow the Ark of Sotek just to, be around, it will grind for infantry. I think it's going to be pretty damn useful in domination. The little skink did okay as well, 100 kills, 1.5k value, not too shabby. No Lord KROQ, but not bad at all. Brings up a garment, 3.3k value there. They are pretty damn naughty, 1.7 on the exotic bloodletters. Really nice build as well by my opponent. It was a good fun one, and yeah, my opponent was indypride and milk and cookies. Make sure to go check him out. I'm sure if you've seen my channel, you've probably seen his before. He's one of the OGs, one of the dons, and yeah, he makes some awesome stuff. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to leave a big fat juicy thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe as well to catch my content when it drops. And leave a comment down below what you thought of the battle, what you'd like to see in the future, or simply yell quack at me. I enjoy reading through all the comments. There's also a link down below to Twitch, Patreon, and Discord. And yeah, that's where you can obviously, you guys know all that kind of standard YouTube stuff by now. Massive shout out to all my Patrons and YouTube members for keeping the channel afloat. And that's going to be it for this one, guys. So until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.